encouragement, and I know where to get it. Let's rise. How do? Yeah, I got to get that out. Think about the tough times you've been through in the past, and at that moment, you didn't think you was going to make it, and you made it. All right, now you know what?
We don't need my answer. Okay, Lessette.
No, I want your answer. Go on, say your answer, please.
See, you know what?
I'm trying to cut you out. I ain't trying to cut you out.
Oh,
So you know what we did to him? We went to doggy daycare. Yes. We took him to doggy daycare, so maybe they can teach him some manners that maybe we can't teach him. And just remember that, you know what? You are directing your life within yourself. So whatever you want your life to be, whatever you do today is going to decide your future for tomorrow. So make sure you direct it carefully, all right? Come on, rise. Let's go higher, higher. When you enjoy something that you really enjoy, that you enjoy what you really enjoy, but you enjoy what you really do.
What did you just say? That messed me up.
Messed me up too.
I was waiting for the hair to go all over the place when you said that, but I think you got through it.
But
no, she did it anyway.
Howdy, partners. How y'all doing out there today? And welcome to Rise with Lessette. I'm telling you, it's so good to be here this morning. I mean, I had a pretty tough weekend this weekend, but I'm here. It's glad to be here. Don't forget to tell somebody out there, send them the link and let them know that they have to watch the show this morning, all right? Let them know. So come on, take Baby and Ray and Say and
Here she goes.
And Sally and Jesse. No, tell them to come on and watch this show because we got a wonderful guest up here today. We have Peggy Tatum, so it's going to be awesome. Keone, how you doing out there?
I'm good. I miss Ray and Bebe and Nene and Sally, Jesse, Raphael, and whoever else you were talking about up there. I've been good. It was a rough weekend. You had a rough weekend. I had a rough weekend because I was doing a 2-day graduation for my students, and then I was also had the bright idea to move in the same weekend. But
that's not good.
The bright side was I was only moving 4 doors down.
Wow.
But here's the problem with that. I got comfortable since I was only moving 4 doors down. I didn't pack anything. So you just see me carrying handfuls of stuff back and forth from the doors.
That's funny. That's real funny. I had a good weekend too. I had to sing in Columbia, South Carolina for Keith Mitchell of After 7. I'm telling you, he's got some beautiful love songs, that group. They had a great run there. I'm telling you, and they're still running on. You know, he's doing gospel now. So that's awesome.
What time was the concert?
The concert was at 7.
Wait.
On Saturday.
It's supposed to be after 7.
I love it. That was so cool.
No, that wasn't. That was a terrible joke. That was
good.
That joke deserves a.
No way, I say. That was a good joke, I tell you, Saul. It was absolutely a good joke, I must say. That was great. I loved it.
Really. You and I vented before the show started. We're not going to get into it, but we do our annual venting about the president. Before we start, thank you for all those people who decided not to vote at all. That worked out well for everybody. Yeah, great. But we have Peggy Tatum on today, and I love the title, Champion for the Unsung: Faith, Vision, and the Power of Connection. Because the one thing that people may lack today is the ability to connect. And
for sure,
there's a couple things, and we can get into it with Peggy, that kind of hurt connection today. I don't want to blame social media because heck, social media has connected more people than not having social media has. Because the old days we used to have to wait, you had to send letters to everybody, right? Now you
Right.
instantly talk to everyone. Um, but there's a couple things that it has ruined, and me and my friends were talking about the other day. A lot of people don't do reunions anymore.
Hmm.
Because what was the point of a reunion? You came back, you haven't seen, everyone's moved away. It's been 10 years, 20 years. Hey, I'm a pharmacist now. I'm this, I'm that. I'm married with 4 kids. And you give
Right.
them that information. Now you see it every day on their page. So there's no need. I know everything going on with every friend I've ever graduated with. Um, but also the genuine connection is missed because it's getting harder and harder to tell who's genuinely in it for the fight that you're in
Mhm.
and who's there because they're grifting or some other nefarious or ulterior motive to be in that fight. And that's the thing I want to talk to her about because she's very inspiring from what I read from her bio.
Yes, she
See, yeah.
is. Yes, she is. Once again, all you people out there in the chat, keep on chatting. Keep on. You're more than welcome to chat with us and communicate your thoughts and share your
and
questions. So
and not to make her feel uncomfortable. Beautiful skin for that. Beautiful. I thought she was 20 years younger than she is.
look, don't tell Hannibal. What is it? Don't tell the side. What was it? What was that man, the cowboy that was getting the skin off the people's bodies in that movie, making him a dress and stuff?
Wait, okay, hold on. You just made it take a dark turn.
Never mind. Never mind. Don't
What?
tell him. I don't want him to get her skin.
I was gonna bring her on. I can't
Hey,
leave her. I can't bring her on after you mentioned
don't.
Ken Bob or whatever his name was. So, all right, let's say something nice before she comes over here. We can't say what's the man that ripped people's skins off. By the way, here's Peggy Tatum. All right,
Okay.
so champion for the unsung, and I love this because 3 of the awards I got early on in my life was Unsung Hero Award, and those were really, really special to me. Greetings, Dr. J, Empowered Women,
Of
and
women.
also faithful watcher Ken Stevens. So without further ado, let's bring on our wonderful, amazing, talented, just inspiring guest, Peggy Tatum.
Peggy, thank you for coming on the show this morning. I'm telling you. I mean, we met years ago at a WIDU talent function where I got.
Lissette, you want to lean a little closer? Your mic's going out.
All right, Lord. I wish I had a long neck. I mean, maybe that would help. No, I'm just
Peggy, you see what I deal with, Peggy? Do you see what I? How long have you known Lissette, Peggy?
messing.
You all on a Monday morning? Good Lord.
I know we rolling this morning. I know it. But I met Peggy at a WIDU talent function,
Hmm.
um, and she was one of the judges there.
Hmm.
So she, along with the judges, I got best vocalist at the time. I really appreciate that, and I've always admired her. And I was watching her then giving awards to the unsung women and people in the community. I thought it was. I said, "Wow, that is so amazing." I've watched her for many years. How beautiful she is, and I really enjoy the work that you do. So now we get to share all of this to our audience. How beautiful you are, and all the wonderful things that you do. So, Peggy Taylor, Miss Peggy, please give us some information about yourself and just flow in it today.
Man, you want me to talk about myself?
Please. I
That's
mean,
what Lissette does. I
I'm
read. I
accustomed
read.
to talking about other people.
That's
no,
that's
you can
what
say a
that's
little
what
something
that's
about
what Lissette does, Peggy. I'd rather do this, Peggy. So let's talk about you've been in the fight for 20 plus years of recognizing gospel artists, faith based entrepreneurs. It talks about clergy, community leaders. One of the things that we're talking about today, the theme is connection. You feel that hey, you fix it in the community, and that's how you can fix a lot of these issues and make life better for people. But it starts in that community small, and then you go from there.
Okay, that was a good pitch. Now I'll go. All right,
Woo!
you get me warmed up. So this is the deal. this year is the 22nd year of TCP Magazine. And as many people know me, heard me tell the story, is that it started because we were hearing all bad news on the news. And I'm that generation where we watch the news 3 times a day at least. You know,
Yeah.
we got to watch it in the morning, check out the weather. We got to watch it at noon. We got to watch it at 6 o'clock. And we got to watch it at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
So that tells you my age right there, probably, or when I came up. But everything was bad news. And that's what they do. And that's how they sell their commercials, where people are
Mhm.
tuning in just to listen to the bad news.
Hmm.
But I know, just like you know, that a lot of good things are going on in the community, and especially the African American community. So that's how it all started. I just wanted to share the good news, which is that's what gospel is all about anyway, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So when you see like 15 to 17 lead stories that everything's bad, and then you have to wait to the very end and they tell something good,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's not what life is about. We shouldn't live based upon fear. So for 22 years, I've just been spreading the good news through the magazine. And the magazine is TCP Magazine. And TCP stands for the connection place, and that's the name of my company. We connect people with who they need. Now, for those that's never heard the story about TCP, that was something that God had given me, and uh, I didn't realize that the acronym represented everyone in my family, everybody's first name.
Oh.
When you start with the T, you have my husband, who's Ted, and my greatest supporter, and I talk about him all the time. And then my oldest son is Ptolemy. And then my youngest daughter is Tracy. So those
Okay.
are T's that start off with the TCP. And then you start with C, which is the middle letter, but also our middle son, whose name is Cameron. And then you come up with the P, which is Peggy, to just close it all in. And so when I saw that, and I didn't even realize it until my neighbor asked me about it. He said, "You're trying to be like Oprah." I said, "No." And he looked at my car. We bought a PT Cruiser. And that
Mhm.
PT Cruiser are the same letters. PT Cruiser,
Wow.
same
That's
letters.
so cool.
So, I tell people that I wasn't that smart, that it was a God thing. And so once I started, every day was like a birthday. Everything that I needed just came into play. I needed a graphic designer, and I had Denver Wright that jumped on board and said, "I'm here for you." And he just started doing the branding part. And I had Rick,
Mhm.
who Vic does the photography. He's been with me for a long time, and there were others that have been a part of it. But just going along. Let's see. We started off as a quarterly magazine, and the thing was, I wanted to bring people together in the Raleigh area. But what I found out was people outside of Raleigh, outside of North Carolina, could see the vision too. And in the area, and some of the folks, and don't take this, I don't want anybody to take this as bad, but I was treated in some areas, like some churches, like I was a Jehovah Witness. You know what happens when a Jehovah Witness come to your door? What do
Yes.
y'all do?
Well, it reminds me of Friday because when the movie of Friday, when the Jehovah Witness came to the door, she said, "Hello." She said something about I think she said like, "Are you going to be able to go back when Jesus come today or something?" And he slammed the door in her face. I said, "Oh my God." I said that's how they do it. But I
My dad
understand.
would, when they'd come up there with the tower pamphlets and say, "Well, let me tell you about," he goes, "I also sell insurance. So if you come in, we can both talk to each other." And they would just walk away.
Yeah. But that's just a comparison is how I was treated in some areas because I was new. And so I had to go out and prove myself outside of the area. So I was approached by the Full Gospel, um, Bishop Paul Morton, and I did something for his conference. Bishop Greg Davis was very instrumental in connecting me with people on a national level, and I appreciate him to this day. And did a lot of stuff for the Gospel Announcers Guild, won awards. So once I proved myself outside the area, one day I said, "Well, you know what? These people that I'm traveling with." as I got further and further, I say they put their pants on the same way that I do. And I
Hmm.
want to go back home where I'll be retiring one day and do more for my community so I can sit home and I can be international right here with all the connections that I've made.
Well, I see that you have made a lot of connections. I also see that your oldest son said that he's the smartest
Yeah,
up there.
oldest son is the smartest. That's what he says. You know what's funny about he just said that? Because you always can ask a parent which one's your favorite, and they always throw out there, I love all my children the same. As like, that wasn't the question. And I always tell a parent, you know how you can find out who's your favorite? Just ask the siblings. The kids will tell you who your favorite
They
is.
sure will.
They will tell you. But
And
something you mentioned earlier about watching the news, watching bad stuff, and it's also, it's the way we get to develop these narratives in communities, especially the
Mhm.
Black community. And we did a show on myths. And one of the things, what is that myth they always say about Black communities? We don't have fathers, right?
right.
Mhm.
And statistically, that myth has been debunked 9 gajillion times, but we still live with it. I coach talent. Almost every time I coach a Black kid, I see two parents.
Hmm.
I rarely see one parent. And sometimes we take that statistic of these two people are no longer together. It doesn't mean the father is out of the life. There's this thing called co-parenting that magically happens, right? So
Mhm.
that's one of the biggest myths that I hate that's out there in the community. You guys are in the community. You see a lot of Black families, and that's
And we
not.
have good times to let them know that father's in the home with the
Yeah.
children.
Mhm. Mhm.
Hmm.
Hey,
Well,
can I give a shout out to my son since he was kind enough to click on that link?
yes, you can.
Thank you.
Now, let me tell you some of the things that he was instrumental in helping me with,
All right.
because he was in media too, or still is in media.
Mhm.
You can catch him over at HBCU Game Day, where they play
Okay,
HBCU
Okay.
sports.
that's
Nice.
great.
But when he was in radio and television, he sort of showed me how to get to press what is it, press passes.
Hmm.
Yes, and so I was able to get into some places that I didn't even know how to get into. Like I'd never been or covered the CIAA tournament until he showed me
Wow.
how to do it, or how to get press passes to be a part of the state fair. So he was kind enough to help his mom, and plus we've done a podcast together before, and so I can't say he's my favorite child because the others might be listening.
I like the way you said, Peggy, how that when you
Well, she
decided to
says I
do,
can't say that.
He's my firstborn.
Wait, Lissette, Ken's not your firstborn child, right?
he's the firstborn.
Oh, but he's not the smartest. I got it. Okay,
And
continue on.
he's very smart.
No, 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 don't ruin my joke. He knows. He knows. Ken's not the smartest. We're moving on. Let's go.
I like the way you said how when you was pulling things together that the Lord was sending things your way, to help you.
Mhm.
It wasn't hard, because I experienced that this weekend. How God was just sending me blessings, just left and right, and I said, "Wow, God, you're awesome." So I can definitely relate to that. It's just. Did you have anyone telling you that you're a woman, you can't do this? I mean, you just not going to work. Do you have anybody that would say to you, this is not going to work? This is not going to happen for you. How did you deal with that if you did?
No, well, no, not really. I'm trying to think back. I've had folks to describe my magazine as a little book,
Okay.
which
Oh
was
yeah.
Wow.
insulting. They didn't know how much work I put into it. Um, and my mother, she didn't really understand what I was doing until she actually saw
Mhm.
the product and the events that I was doing. And then she was excited and proud. A former boss that I thought that I would have as a backup or someone that could help me as an entrepreneur, he looked at it and said, "How are you going to make any money?" And he was no help at all. But my husband is one that he watches everything I do. He's protective, and he comes back to me and tells me what I need, just visually. You need this, and you need that, and if it's something that he can buy, he gets it for me.
Mm, mm,
He,
mm,
Yes,
mm.
because that's can constructive. And we were talking about this, and you were here, Peggy, before the show started. Sometimes you don't start something, and your first thought is, how much money am I going to make? And it makes it more authentic. You put more of your heart and soul into it. And the one thing, like the person says, how are you going to make any money? If that's your concern, how about you sit me down and tell me how I could make money doing this?
Exactly.
So people, it's always like I always tell people, don't bring me a problem if you don't haven't even thought of a solution to help me with the problem that you're dumping on me,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's how we build community. We teach each other. And like you're talking about, your husband would come back instead of looking at the book and going, "All right, my wife has a hobby, good for her." It's like, "Hey, you need this, you need that. This will make it better." Not that, well, you need pictures. Well, you don't have this. Why are you going to succeed? And that's the thing that we all have to learn to do. Ken, don't be mad. I'm just speaking fact. At a factual show, I have statistics that I could put on the screen to back up my claims. Okay. So, um, that's the great thing I love about it. And when it can come with the person from the person who is your partner, that is the cherry on top.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because a
Yeah.
It
lot of
reminds me of my husband because
yeah,
he does the same thing, Peg.
because there's so many couples out there that one person in that marriage will have an idea or dream and the other one's not supportive because it's like, whatever. So it's always beautiful when you have that support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And if it was about making money, a lot of money, I wouldn't be here today. I would have gone and got a real job. Um, and here's a story I don't think I've told publicly.
Uh-oh. Let's gear up for this. We get a first time exclusive. I like it. Put her
Well,
on the big screen.
and this was, I don't know if this was during it was after 2020. And someone had invited me out for lunch or something. I said, I have to wait till my husband comes back so I can use the car. And he says, you don't have another car? And I don't remember if the car was wrecked or what, but we only had one car at the time. And this person said, well, if you're in business, you need a car. And I'm like, I don't want to be paying for no car. And this person said, go pick you out a car. Let me know how much it costs. I will give you the money. You won't have to pay back any interest, and you can pay it back when you can. And I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
really? And that really happened.
Oh, wow.
And the only reason I'm telling you this is because I do a lot of bartering and exchange. You know, you've got a gift, I've got a gift, and we just work together.
Wow.
And
Wow.
things
This is
just happen.
awesome. I love that. I love the fact that, someone was able to be a blessing to you and, you know, give and exchange, and it's powerful. I love that.
What's that? What am I always railing about? Isn't that something I'm always? I know Peggy heard me earlier today, but Lissette's hearing it from me all the time. Sometimes let's just help each other out.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It doesn't always. I mean, uh, when I went to start, and it's funny that you said this little book. The boss that I used to have when I started doing the Keone productions and stuff, and I was talking about filming some graduations, and he was like, "With what? Your little production company?"
Oh,
I was like,
wow.
"Oh, okay." But when I was starting, I went to, some friends and I'm like, "Hey, I'm not asking for, big, 20, $50 to help me out, the people that look like me to help in the community." And, it's like $50? That's a lot. I'm like, "You just bought Jordans 3 days ago. Like you can't, because Michael Jordan needs your money, right?" Right. And
Wow.
then it's crazy because a friend of mine, my ex roommate, her boyfriend, and they don't look like me, said, "Well, what do you need to get started?" And I said, "I have no idea." And he wrote me a $10,000 check.
Oh,
I
wow.
said, "Well, how can I pay this back?" He said, "Don't worry about it. When my girlfriend lost her job and she was your roommate, you supported her for 8 months without a
Mhm.
fuss. So here you
Mhm.
go."
Hmm.
And
That's
that's
how
how you
that's
always be kind to people. You never know how it comes back to you. I could have told her, "Get out. You don't have a job." You know, you just never
oh my
know.
You
Yeah.
never, that's right, you never know how it does come back to you. Even in my own life, I've seen how God has just blessed me. Because some people say, well, you was talking about like, they don't need your, Jordan, Michael Jordan don't need your $50. It's like, even in the business that I'm in, as far as the entertainment business, and I be up there on Facebook a lot. Some people won't even give you a heart or a star or a hands up or a comment or a subscription or anything, and it's sad. They sit there and watch, and you don't know whether they enjoy it or not, but they keep coming back,
Well,
and
sometimes that can be a good thing, Lissette. I've seen it to where people don't even read what you post. Someone said, my mom just died of cancer, and they had 15 likes. I'm like, these people didn't even read the post. They just went by and liked it. So sometimes,
Yeah. You never
that's
know how that algorithm is working.
yeah,
If
you
that's
it's
never
true.
know how it
working
works.
for you or
Um,
against you, or whenever you posted it, you never
how
know.
How has
That
social media helped you, Peggy? Because you've been around doing this for 21 years.
mm.
So kind of the way you started to the way you promote and work and do yourself now, how has social media helped you so much in what you do?
Um, we had to pivot because
Mhm.
starting off, I had a database back in the day like 10,000 subscribers, and 10,000 at that time was good. But as social media became a part, you know, with Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, there's so many that people use now, um, and numbers just accumulate. Now, I was working with someone who set up a site for me for gospel artists some time ago, and he was able to get a lot of followers in a little amount of time. But after he left, and I looked at what he had done, the subscribers were from all over the world. So they weren't unique in people that I knew or knew of me. It was like followers. I don't know if he purchased the followers or how it was done, but I went through and like people from different countries that I didn't want them to know what I was doing. I know we're supposed to spread the gospel out, but some of these folks you don't need to connect with. But anyway, I'll pivot from there. But social media has just changed the game. I was in Staples one day, complimented this young man on how he looked, and he did a 30-second interview with me. And I didn't realize he was an influencer. In a short amount of time, there were 1 million views from that one little post where we just talked. So you can have somebody like Lissette that's been singing for a long time, and she's been trying to get into the industry, trying to get through these doors. But where she's been trying before, now social media has just changed the game. And so at TCP, we have so many different groups. Like I have a group for gospel artists. I have a group for Female Pastors Fellowship, one for the Artist Showcase. There's one for Faces, and that's for people who, notables and friends and family who have died. And I have
Mhm.
27610 events for events in the Raleigh area. And what else do I have? I got my personal page and I got TCP Magazine, and that's just on Facebook. And so we're on other outlets too. And it's sort of hard to keep up with everything. So I've got to recruit some ambassadors. Someone told me the other day, you've got to, what did she say? Copy yourself or something. I said, I need some ambassadors to help me do some of the things that we're doing.
For sure. I mean, that's a great work. I mean, you're on the wall, just like Nehemiah, and you refuse to come down, and I just think it's, and another thing that I was so impressed about was when President Biden gave you the Lifetime Achievement Award. How was that? What was that all about?
Well, let's see. Dr. Donna Corbett, a good friend of mine, is a part of this organization, and they work with. I'm not sure what it is, but it was indeed an honor to get that, along with so many other awards that I've received. And
Mhm.
I don't sort of I don't know. I was listed as what was it called? Yep, look, my 70 is kicking in. Where's my memory going? At church, as one of the Hidden Figures or Black History Moment or something like that. And they read my bio just like you read my bio and all the awards that I've received. And it was almost like I was sitting there at my own funeral.
Mm,
Uh,
mm,
someone
mm,
someone
mm.
talking about your accomplishments. And I
Yes.
don't dwell a lot on all the things that I've accomplished because there's so much more to be done.
Oh, yes.
There's so much more work to be done. We don't have a whole lot of time to do it. So, one of the things I want today for us to know is don't get distracted from everything that's going on in this world.
You better go ahead.
We can't argue about this politics that we don't have control over. We can vote. That's one thing we can do, and we can support those that are in office. But there's so many little things that we can do in the meantime. I am concerned about my neighbors. I make sure that my neighbors are taken care of. I check in with them. And the things that I can control, I do that. If I can make someone's day, just give them a call. There are so many people that are committing suicide these days. Nobody's listening. Everybody's just talking. Why do we
This is
talk?
good. This is good.
The one that you just said, I watched a story of a guy that jumped off. I can't remember if it was not the San Francisco bridge, but one of those big bridges that you jump off of, and there's no like they don't have a survivor rate. Everyone who's jumped off these big bridges, they're just gone. And he said when he went to attempt suicide, he was at work. Not going into he went to a long backstory of what was happening before work. He was at work, and at work, no one spoke to him that day. And a
Mm.
lot of people came back and said, "Well, we didn't spoke to you because we saw you were in a bad mood." Which I
Mm,
always tell people that's the worst time not to speak to somebody, right? You just leave them to their thoughts. So he left work. He started walking. He's walking past all these people. No one's saying anything. And as he's walking down the bridge and picking which spot he's going to jump over,
Oh my
a
God.
jogger um, stopped because someone was on the ground. He said, "Hey, did you drop that?" And he's like, "No." And he gave the guy a compliment about something, and they struck up a conversation.
Mm.
And the guy said, "Well, you have a great day," and ran off. And he said, after that conversation, I just turned around and went home.
mm,
That
And
could
so,
very well have been an angel. You
yeah,
never
and sometimes it's here you go. Sometimes, sometimes it's just a little small. Like it amazes me, Peggy, that when I simply open the door for somebody, how they look shocked and light up because no one's doing that really
mhm.
anymore. Opening the door for somebody. It's the smallest things that can change someone's day.
Yeah, we
You know.
we have to be the light. We have to be the light. And like you said, opening up the door. Oh, did I see Al Morgan?
Yes, he said the
Oh, wow.
greatest supporter in the world is Peggy Tatum. And the only reason why he said that is because he never met me.
Ah, look, let me give you a plug. Now, Al and Yolanda Morgan were on the front cover of the magazine last year, I think it was, or either the year before. They
Mhm.
have launched ministries in um Rocky Mount. They have an amazing, amazing ministry. You got to read that issue of the magazine. Look, they preach the word, but the one thing that they do, they also deal with finances, they deal with
Mhm.
entrepreneurship, and they don't deal with any mess. Um, the story in the magazine, it tells where they're making millionaires out of their members. They're getting them out of debt. They're getting them into home ownership. Um, I can't say enough about these guys. When they first started their ministry, they didn't even take up tithes and offering. And then
Mhm.
later on, when they did, they were giving it back to the members to help them out.
What?
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay, stop,
that's
stop. You
good.
go.
That's
Okay,
good right
you're gonna
there.
make me fall out my chair.
look, those are the types of stories I like to tell in
Yeah.
TCP Magazine because, like you said, I think you said earlier, either before the show or about
Mhm.
all the bad news is being told about the churches. And
Right.
there's good news out there. There are
Mhm.
people on Sunday morning that go through and look at the lives just looking for stuff so they can capitalize on.
Well,
All
because Peggy,
we have to say.
people aren't educated to know, and Lissette knows me. I believe in God, but she knows I'm not. I'm not super religious, and we're not even going to get into that. But people aren't educated to understand the difference between church, prosperity church, and mega churches who are out here putting on shows and collecting millions of dollars while the people that are in their congregation are losing houses.
Sad.
And so what they do is they put everything in one big ball. and then church just gets that blanket statement of, and then when you do have pastors on lives and videos chastising people because they didn't give enough, you only put $1,200 in this plate. I know you got more than that. And that's what people see. But then you have what you're doing, and what do they always say? The loud dog or whatever bark dog is heard the loudest. I forgot how the sayings go, and I butchered it. And we just have to have more people like you and more people in the community who is pushing this stuff. But we also need people to subscribe, to watch, to join, and support. Because if people aren't doing that, then it's not getting pushed out. You know, and that's what everyone has to do. Take the time to watch TCP and take a break from Real Housewives of Atlanta for 2 seconds to
And
check
that's what I
on some
like about
positive things that
Peggy,
are happening. Huh?
is that she goes in the community and she sees like pastors, pastors' wives and pastors in the community. I've actually watched her give this award to this lady, this lady pastor, and to acknowledge her, and it's just that she was doing a great job. Everybody want to get stroked. Everybody want to say you're doing a great job. I mean, everybody needs that from time to time. I think that's it's amazing.
It's
See,
good.
she
'Cause you know what? It's you pump people up, and I loved, and this is what I love. As soon as she sees certain people's name, you see the light up of the face. I
Hmm.
always say that. There's people that once you hear their name, you light up, and there's people that once you hear their name, you go, ugh. I know Peggy. Every time I call Lessette, she goes, "Ah, what now?" So I know, but and that's the beauty thing. You constantly promote each other. You constantly have each other's back. I have a show called Pretty Smart on the channel. It's a show we talk about various topics, but it's hosted by Black women and women of color. And the reason why I started it in 2021 is because I wanted to show, hey, Black women do get along. Because I got tired of seeing TV where they always have to throw a drink on each other.
for
They're
sure.
always fighting. I was like, they get along, they can have conversation, and that show gets views. But if I had those women fighting all the time, I'd have 1 million subscribers by now.
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
For
That's
sure.
what sells. That's
Yeah,
what.
but I refuse to do it. I refuse to do that type of content.
Okay. Okay.
After watching the just being observant of the community that we.
Wait, let's say I think she was gonna give me a compliment and you ran over it. I didn't know if she was about to give me a compliment. I was all ready for
Oh
it.
my God.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to you later because I want to know about your show and your network. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
But
Awesome. All right,
the
back to
other
you.
thing I was going to say, when we were talking about church, is it's all about your personal relationship with God. If you've got that relationship, you can see through all these things. Okay, Al, thanks. He's prompting me. Hometown heroes.
All right now.
Oh, I can't believe he's even got time to even listen as much stuff as he's doing.
I was gonna say, is this your friend? Is this your PR? Is your PR person in the chat?
Oh, that's Bishop Al Morgan. Lord
Oh,
have mercy.
Bishop.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, yeah.
All right, Bishop. You
Uh, home,
know,
he was talking about hometown heroes. We've done with let's see, that's how I met Lessette. I was doing some stuff with WIDE radio, and we were doing
mm,
um, hometown hero tours. I think we covered 4 states at the time, and so we've done over 100 hometown heroes. And I still do it. I'm not doing anything with WIDU, but I still do hometown heroes um, every year. We just did one this weekend.
wow.
Yeah, Randy Shepard with the Martin Luther King Jr. All Children's Choir here in Raleigh announced his retirement after 40 years. So we
Mhm.
gave him a Hometown Hero Award.
Nice. I need
And
to connect you with Catrice. She has a show on iHeartRadio. Um, it's all about. I love connecting. It's just connecting.
yeah,
you know,
I connect people with who they need. And I say, let me connect you with somebody that you can trust and somebody who's reliable. And let me tell you who to run from.
That
Okay.
part.
Because all connections are not good connections.
That part.
And so where connections was a good term and it's still a good term, people are using the term now collaborations.
Yeah.
Yeah, collaborations, of course, is when you're doing stuff together.
Mhm.
Connections when you just put them together. And I like connecting because I can go on about my business.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, also, the thing that you just said and it's not a so you can't look at everything negative, and I think that's what sometimes people do. Like you just said, let me tell you to run from. It doesn't mean that person's a bad person. People reach out to me all the time, said, hey, do you know somebody who can do this, this, and this? And I said, yeah, I know three people, but this is the person you need to work with. Why? Are they the best? No, I know you, and I know these three people, and I know the one that
Oh,
you won't mesh well with, because
exactly.
it's not because this person's bad. It's just I know y'all aren't gonna have the
It's
relationship
all in
the way
water.
you want, right?
Hmm.
And so it's not. So I get what you're saying, and people always look at it as, well, what are you saying about that person? Nothing. I'm just telling you, you're not gonna work well with them,
Hmm.
you know,
When
because
you
I know
say
you both.
hometown heroes, the Lord gave me the song about hometown hero. No, everyday heroes. It's a beautiful song, and I will be bringing that out real soon. But we have heroes around us every day. The firemen, the teachers, you know, um, even news reporters. They get up there. I mean, but some of them are actually really telling the truth. Others, they do their thing, but and it's not muddied up. Just give the news.
Not all
But
heroes wear capes.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. It's just I still wonder, Peggy, where is all of this passion? Where is this coming from? Where is Um, I mean, that's some people say, well, I admire the heroes and stuff, but they're not out doing what you're doing. Where's that passion in you? I mean, I know God, God is in there and I know but where did it come from to do this?
Well,
That's what I'm saying.
maybe it came from growing up in Sampson County, working in the tobacco field and the cotton field and the cucumber field, and just grateful to be away from there. You think
Mm.
that's where it came from?
Yeah, that could be where it came from, right?
That's
You,
where it
you
started.
look, hey, you're right. Look, I retired from two jobs at 40, and my dad reminded me when I retired. He said, you told me when you were like 7 that you didn't want to work too long." And I said, "Well, maybe because you guys had me, you and my grandfather, at 7 years old, sitting on hot roofs in Miami in August doing tar.
Oh
Like that,
Lord.
that could convince a 7 year old that they don't want to get into
They
certain
don't want
jobs."
to do
He's
this.
like, "I thought that was gonna, make a man out of you." No, it made me say I'm not doing this type of
I'm not
work
doing this.
when
Mhm,
I
I
grew up.
went 2 days in the tobacco field. I worked there 2 days. And I'm saying, like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this.
mhm,
I got to go to school.
And we
I'm not
come
doing this.
from a people who used to have to do it for free
mhm.
and get
Mm.
punished if it wasn't done on time.
And never got paid for their work.
Yeah,
Mhm.
That's sad.
that's what we're free is for, Lissette. I don't mean to get on
I
you.
know, but I'm interpreting what you're saying to somebody else that don't quite understand what you just said. You remember, like, look, like that policeman on Frank Sanford.
No,
Frank
Peggy,
Sanford,
Peggy, I got to tell you this because we derail all the time, and that is just gonna happen. We were having a meeting one time, and I told people, and don't procrastinate. And Lissette came behind me and said, and don't be late either. I said, Lissette, that's why I
Oh.
don't want them to procrastinate.
Well, I gotta break it down a little further.
Oh,
So we have fun, but getting back to what we're talking about. So I put in the description, everybody, all the different Facebook groups that Peggy has that you can go ahead and check out, as well as tcpmagazine.com. So if you go to the description, if you are here as a regular guest and you know that, you can go and check that out. No reparations, right? We're like the only people to not receive reparations. And see,
I
maybe
want my
Al
money.
gonna get okay. Peggy, text Al. You gonna get Keone on a tangent. You say something crazy. But we are a people who we're the only people that are asked to get over everything.
That's
You
not
know,
fair.
mhm.
slavery, get over it. Civil rights, get over it. Police brutality, get over it. 9/11, never forget. Holocaust, never forget.
No, 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 no.
Everybody never forget. But with us, it's like, get over it, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, no reparations, but that's why we are who we are, and we need to show more Black people, not just in February. That's why I'm glad we have this show. We have Black guests on all the time. We have guests that aren't black, but we have black guests all the time because there are people in our community who should be celebrated year round, not
Hmm.
just pumped up when it's February. And
Or when they die.
yeah, I did feel kind of bad because we double booked ourselves on your original date. But you'll love the person we had booked, and you reminded me when you said hometown heroes. G. Vincent was on. He's a dad of seven, I believe five or seven. I know he has at least five, and he started writing children's books to help children and communities. And his books are really good, but he had to deal with Amazon, and Amazon told him that the book needed to be, I think he said 100 pages or something.
Mhm.
Lissette, he's like, these books are for 7-year-olds. Why does it need
Right.
to be 100
They're
pages?
not going to read no seven.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
really good guy. Uh, that's just been on his own since 17. Worked on fishing boats in Alaska, and now has 7 kids and just does everything he can to make sure that
Mm-mm.
his kids and other people's kids have education and success. And those are the type of people that you don't get to see, like you said.
But see, uh, that's what you're talking about there.
Mhm.
We have so many with gifts and talents, but need proper direction.
Yeah.
And when I run across people like that, I just, sort of pull them aside and do my little chiropractor thing and, get them aligned and say, listen, you need to talk to so and so. Go over here, go on my phone. Look, call this person. Look at the magazine. Look at this ad right here. Look at Shiro Publishing. Call,
Mhm.
consult with them. They will get you straightened out on what you need to do, how to become a bestseller. Uh, why you shouldn't go through Amazon, who you should go through first, what your other options are.
Hmm.
And sometimes when we take off on our own, we just do what we know.
Yeah, we don't know. And
It's
he's
true.
fighting, he's skating uphill right now. Uh,
Hmm.
he was our last guest that day. And he's
Hmm.
skating uphill. He got 2 books out there, but he's skating uphill.
Sometimes we spend useless money. So
Yeah.
this is my season now, and this is my theme this year.
Mhm.
Untold stories. So during the course of the last 22 years, there are stories that were never told in TCP Magazine. They were placed aside for some reason. They didn't
Mhm.
make the book because they weren't either properly vetted or it just wasn't the right season. So this year we are publishing Untold stories, and my
Great.
and it goes along with another theme: finish what you started.
Mm.
You better go ahead on and say
That's
that
my
now.
Have you
that's my biggest problem.
have you heard that song "No Failure"? If you haven't, you need to go listen to it. There is no
Now,
failure.
now who's the group that you're referring to that made that the singer?
um da 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 da.
And you can't let what's that saying they say now? Life's gonna life, right? You can't let everything in life be your roadblock. I remember hearing, I think it was Sean Penn or something. He said Picasso was reputed to have said, "If you take away my paints, I'll use my pastels. If you
There
take
you
away my
go.
pastels, I'll use my crayons. If you take
Come
away my
on.
crayons, I'll use my pencils. If you strip me naked and stuck me in a cell, I'll spit on my finger and I'll draw on the wall."
There you
And then
go.
all that tells me is nothing is gonna stop me from the goal that I have, and you're not gonna quash my creativity. Um, and that's just the way you have to be because life can get you down. Um, and sometimes you don't accomplish your mission because of things that you don't get help with. Mental health is big. I know a lot of people real go, everybody has a mental health problem these days. It's like, well, people have always had mental health. We just better at recognizing it and
Acknowledge it.
dealing with it and going to talk to somebody or praying or going to see a therapist or doing a combination of both instead of finding a vice to help you cope with your problem, right? And when you get all those things together, your desire level to finish what you've started goes up. Because all it takes for a lot of people is that one bump in the road, especially if you're pinching pennies to accomplish your mention, your
Yes.
mission, and then it's depression and it's defeat, and then you're back to where you started.
Hmm. Hmm. So
But
to
it's
answer your question, Lisette, that's Melvin Crispell.
thank you.
You know what I'm talking about. Um, his song "No Failure," and it says
Okay.
he'll finish what he started. So that's my
Yes,
goal
yes.
this year to
I
finish
like
these
that.
things.
Published stories. I like that you have and the vetting thing is especially important today because you find out so many people, they're big influencers or they're doing all these things in the community. And hey, they might have pumped a lot of people up, but then you find out their past was not their past that they told you. It's
Mhm.
like, oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
So
It's not
vetting
it's
is super important.
doing a magazine is not like doing a souvenir journal. It's a whole lot
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
And
Um,
sometimes you have to cut stories just to include advertising to cover your expenses.
yeah. Yeah.
That's true.
So,
What were the two big magazines that you loved growing up? Because I, we're not the same age. We're like 20 years apart, but I still grew up at a time that you go in my living room, there's Jet and Ebony magazine right there on the coffee table.
For
mhm.
sure.
That was it. Those were our main ones: Jet, Essence, and
E-
Oh, I
Ebony.
forgot about
Hmm.
Essence.
mhm,
Hmm.
Forgot about Essence.
and Ebony. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a story out about Essence now, and the new ownership is quite interesting. But you'd end up going down a rabbit hole just to figure all that out.
Which one was your favorite? Because Jet by far was my favorite. I
Of
was
course,
I love
Jet
Jet
was your
too.
favorite because you got to open it up, and who do you see? The model of the week and the swimsuit edition.
Hmm.
well,
Hmm.
so you're saying my sisters loved Ebony and I loved Jet. So what I didn't, I was little, so I didn't get the, I didn't, I didn't understand the difference. Why did my sisters love Ebony so much more?
Because the
Oh,
ladies look so pretty in ebony, it looks so beautiful.
yeah,
But the whole magazine, even all three of them I loved all three. I did anyway. But I
mhm,
think Jet was my favorite too, though. Really.
yeah.
And when we,
Ebony had the makeup and the fashions
yeah,
Mm.
more so.
and
Jet had the short stories.
oh yeah, that's right. And when we keep things ourselves, it's. So I remember growing up and I loved BET to death.
Oh,
And
yes.
then it got sold to Viacom, and then I'm like,
No train.
why do I have to watch I Got the Hookup on loop for 3 days? Like, there's more movies than, Boys in the Hood, I Got the Hookup, and Menace to Society. It's like it just went downhill, and I was like, this doesn't feel like us anymore. Like the positive shows were not coming out like they used to. So I love when we keep stuff in house and make it wholesome and promote us. That's why you had things like the Cosbys being one of the okay. We know what happened, but we're gonna ignore that for a second because before the Cosbys, what did we have? We had great shows like Good Time,
Good
What's
times.
Happening, Sanford and Son, but we were always poor or in the
Right.
ghetto or on assistance. But even though we're good, and the Cosbys came around and black kids could go, wait, I can be a doctor and marry a lawyer. What is this?
Isn't
Yeah.
that something?
And they weren't out there beating kids and spanking them and yelling at them. They were, you know, wholesome, wholesome parents, and love seeing it. So the theme of the day, everyone, is inspiration. The thing of the day is recognize people.
Mhm.
The theme of the day is sometimes the smallest gestures go the longest way. You don't know how a small positive gesture impacts someone down the line. And people
Yes.
remember you. Sometimes the smallest gesture is the most. I have people come up to me and go, "Hey, you did this thing for it could be such a small thing." And I'm like, "I have no idea who this person is or what they're talking about or what I did, but apparently they remember it."
Hmm.
I
Yep.
think that is awesome. I have one more question to ask you. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's one more question, but what what worries you about the community that we're in and that seemingly to come? I know they have a lot of things on social media how that they say, well, if somebody if you hear a baby crying, don't answer, don't go see about the baby, or if you get some you find some money on the on the ground, don't pick it up. If somebody come to your door say they need some help, don't answer it. Or do you feel that perhaps maybe our society is like you know getting away from helping one another, or does that do you have a fear about that? I wonder. I have a concern about that.
We live in different bubbles.
Hmm.
Uh, like my community is one thing. And so my the cul-de-sac is one thing, but you might go down the street and it's something different.
Mhm.
I try to, like I said, I try to stay connected. The way the world is now, it's just um, everything leads you toward fear. Now, my fear is just driving down. 40, just from bad experience. If I see a Dodge Charger coming, if I see
Oh Lord.
a Mustang, or if I see a Challenger, I'm like, oh my Lord, I'm a little old lady just trying to get over and get out of the way. Even as recent as this weekend, I had the Mustang to pull up beside me. I saw it coming, and it pulled up right beside me. And I'm like, why is it beside me? I'm looking over, and then a Charger comes up on the other side, and then they take off, racing, weaving
Oh,
in and out of traffic. It's just so many little things that bring fear in our lives these days, and we just got to stay grounded. So whenever I leave the house, I'm praying, Lord, keep me safe. If I'm just going down the street, keep me safe at night. Have angels camped around us.
yes, Lord.
Keep my family safe. But there's so much going on that if you focus on everything, you go crazy. That's why some folks are just jumping off bridges
Yeah.
because
Oh,
they
Oh,
just
yes,
can't take it
Lord.
anymore.
mhm.
It's just they're ready to go to a different world.
It's what let's say she's talking about, like that echo chamber. I always say this, and people get mad, and I'm like, you can go look at statistics and dispute it. Everything has actually gone down. Violent crime's gone down. Domestic violence gone down. But why does it seem so much prevalent? All these things is because it's all in our face. When you
Yes,
all were young and I was young, I was in Miami, Florida. If something happened in Green Bay, Wisconsin, I didn't hear about it.
that's true.
Right.
But now it's on my phone in 2 seconds. So
Hmm.
everything always looks in peril. If you're out there doing positive things, that means someone else is out there doing you can't be the only person in the world doing positive things. There was an accident on 40 a month ago. I told you about Lessette, and the two women hit each other. One was a 20-year-old girl, and the other was a woman with three kids in the back. So I immediately saw that it was two women and one with kids. So I pulled over to check on them, and it's rush hour traffic, and everybody else is still just trotting along.
Hmm.
And I'm like, and I
Wow.
literally threw my hands up and I yelled, so no one's gonna stop and check on these people. But I stopped and goes, well, I did. So people just do your part, you
Hmm.
know. And the thing about, if someone knocks on the door, you just have to have your antennas up. You got to know your red flags. I can never stop helping people with fear of someone doing something to me, or else I wouldn't be me.
That's good.
And
But
that's
and
how you have to look
that's
at
why
it.
we got to keep sharing good news. We've got to saturate the atmosphere with good news to
Yes.
combat all this bad news.
Yeah.
I know we're coming close to the end of the show, but I've got something
Mhm.
else I want to say before we go.
All right.
Okay.
We do spontaneous worship, me and Melissa Wade, every fifth Sunday. It's at Lincoln Park Church, 13 Heath Street in Raleigh. Every fifth Sunday from 3 to 5 o'clock, we take 2 hours out for spontaneous worship. And Lissette, I think I was telling you about it. And so
Yes.
everybody's watching. We'd love for you to come out and be with us. Um, you may be in the audience, and we might come to you and hand you the microphone for you to sing. During the course of spontaneous worship, we have different people going off and on the instruments from the keyboard to the organ. Um, let's see. I'm about to lose my train of thought again because y'all had me for a whole hour. But
Oh, sorry.
we just want you to come out and be a part of it. It's all about worshiping and also supporting Lincoln Park Church and what they're doing for the community. They feed 3 times a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, giving out boxes of food. They've been doing it since the pandemic religiously. And we just leave them a donation so they can help with their expenses. So, Melissa Wade and I invite you out to come. And the next one is fifth Sunday in March. We're not having a TCP anniversary this year, but we are doing events along the way. And as I was saying, I turned 70 years old this year, so we're going to be doing different events, uh, pop ups along the way. So can you stay tuned and be a part of TCP Magazine? We'd love to have you.
Awesome. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. You know what, Peggy, we really thank you for coming to the show. Keone and I know we enjoyed you. I know I enjoyed you, and so I appreciate also all the chat people in the chat. And Gail and Lo, I saw y'all pop up as well. I saw your name up there. So thank you for tuning in. Really, really appreciate that. I know that to you out there, there's all these wonderful avenues that you can do and be a part of to lift your spirits. I come on every day and to lift someone, because somebody lifted me. That's why I do what I do. I love lifting and encouraging people, so, and it's kind of like what Keone said, like, the artist, if nobody, if I didn't have the material I need, I'm gonna find a way to do it, and I will find a way to uplift someone because someone lifted me. And I thank you for coming on the show today, Peggy. We really appreciate it. I want you guys in the chat, go and share the link to someone that needs to hear this, and share the link, and let them know about our show. And if you got some ideas for a show, then please let us know. And we're gonna cut you on off. All right. Thank you. Keone, would you like to
Just
say
cut me
something?
off.
No,
Just come on. Look,
oh,
Peggy,
Anna
she
Mae.
talked. She talked for an hour about
Anna
community
Mae. I'm
connection,
sorry.
and now she just want to disconnect you right
Just
off, just right away. No, Peggy, thank you for coming on again. Sorry, we crazily double booked ourselves, but we were so glad to get you on here and provide this information and being on this little channel of mine. I appreciate it so well, and you be blessed.
all right. God
Bye,
bless you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.